New intro. So much love and appreciation to those of you who have been with me for the 2 year period plus that I've been doing this. Thank you for showing your love and support to the channel. And to anybody else who is brand new to the platform and you would like to support the channel, also you can do it by way of Patreon, Anchor, the clothing store, and also the shoe shop that is listed in the comment description below. And again, thank you to any and all of you guys who have been here to support this channel during the 2+ year period. I wouldn't be able to do what I do every single day without you. Four alleged U.S. Capitol rioters were charged Sunday. One, a retired U.S. Air Force lieutenant colonel, and a 30-year-old man who reportedly undertook the mission with his mom and was photographed with a handful of zip ties. Eric Munchel and Larry Brock were both charged with, quote, one count of knowing entering or remaining in any restricted building on grounds without lawful authority, and one count of violent entry and disorderly conduct on Capitol grounds. Munchel, a resident of Tennessee, and Brock, a resident of Texas, were among the hordes of supporters of President Trump who stormed the Capitol building on Wednesday in a violent but fruitless attempt to prevent the certification of President-elect Joe Biden. It left 5 people dead, including U.S. Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick, who was pepper sprayed and fatally bludgeoned with a fire extinguisher. Munchel, who was photographed inside the Capitol clutching zip ties and wearing paramilitary gear, admitted to the Times of London that he carried out the raid with his 57-year-old mother, Lisa Eisenhart. Brock, a 53-year-old father of 3 and a retired lieutenant colonel of the Air Force, was photographed carrying zip ties, but reportedly said that he simply found them on the floor and intended to turn them over to police. It was not immediately clear if the men who were arrested Sunday in their respective home states had legal representation. Dozens of alleged rioters have already been arrested and charged, with authorities conducting a nationwide manhunt. Didn't I tell y'all that you have a lot of military personnel? Even in the previous story that I did, the 2 black cops that were assaulted and called racial slurs, they said that this was a very much coordinated attack and that a lot of these people were trained. This further proves that point, since you have an Air Force colonel, don't matter if he's retired or not, that decided that he wanted to take place in this. Right? That he wanted to insert himself in this as if he was actually doing something. Like I said before, black people pay attention. These are all tests that are being used. Right? Is to, gauge a lot of things. Right? And the government is, in a sense, allowing these things to take place because, as I told you guys before, the government is all over social media. It's all over everybody's devices. So it's not like the government doesn't know what's happening. They allow certain things and they don't allow certain things. Like I said, people have to realize this was a part of the Coliseum. This, in a sense, was a test. It did actually happen, but it's also a distraction at the same time. Because normally when big things like this happen and we're talking about it for weeks and months and different things of that nature, we're not paying attention to other things that we should be looking at or other moves that are being made directly in front of our faces. Like I said, more than likely while this was going on, there was something else that we were supposed to be paying attention to that we weren't paying attention to. And that was also by way of collaboration with the media, who also works with the government. Because the media feeds and gives us a lot of the information that we engage in, that we ingest on an everyday basis, right? Because a lot of times, of course, nobody can be everywhere. Nobody can know about every single story and different things of that nature that take place. So we, in a sense, rely on the media, right, to, in a sense, do that and to inform us of other things that we might not know about that's happening in all the other states or in all of the other countries and things like that around the world. So, it's a double-edged sword. So if we trust them enough, we're handing over, in a sense, blind trust because we're not doing enough research for ourselves to decipher what exactly it is that we should be gaining from such information that is being willfully handed over to us. So like I said before, whatever laws and bills that they are passing from every single state, make sure that you do your due diligence and you research your state. You research the various laws. You go and look at the news from like the time that this took place all the way up until February 1st. That's the news. That's the information that you want to try to filter through. And you want to try to decipher for yourself to see what it is that you were missing during that time. Like I said before, anytime that something big like this happens, it's always something else. Remember, just January of last year, almost around this time, it was the whole thing that people thought we were going to war with Iraq because of what took place there, right? And that was during the standpoint of January, and then that led all the way over until February. And then once February basically came in, that's when they started talking about everything dealing with the pandemic. And then March is basically when they went full speed ahead, and now the whole world is basically talking about it. Like I said, pay attention because everything just so happens to repeat. So right now, they're not talking about the other strain, right? They're not making that a big fuss or anything like that. And we're in January. Because remember, like I told you guys before, go back and look at the news in December. China and people around the world were already sitting up there talking about what was going on in China and how that was spreading. America really didn't care about it. They didn't see a whole reason to even sit up there and look at it. So then in comes February, they start putting little blips up there on the map. And then when March ended up coming, they went full speed ahead and started talking about, you know, pandemic this, pandemic that, everything pandemic, right? And more than likely, they're going to follow those exact same lines. But like I said before, while they're giving you and feeding you all of this, what's called major news, or in a sense, deception, because it is pulling your viewpoint from something else, and they're telling you to look at this because they're telling you, engaging it for you by letting you know, like, hey, if we're putting this out there, this is more important than whatever it is that you realistically need to know. So like I said, go back through the news and pay attention every single month, and pay attention whenever something big happens. Go back and look in between that timeline and figure out the things that the government and other things around the world that were taking place. But anyways, that's enough of me talking and rambling on. Let me know what you guys think about this video and everything that I stated in the comment description below. And as always, peace, love, and stay tuned for the next video.